Let's go next to Grant from Iowa City. Grant, welcome to the show. What's going on?
Hey, David. So
Hi.
I am about a decade late in asking this question,
Okay.
but I haven't really paid attention to politics up until the last couple of years ago.
Okay.
Anyway, I was thinking back to Obama's presidency and how there was such drama surrounding his birth certificate and all that.
Of course.
And I was curious, what's your perspective on the requirement for people to be natural-born citizens in order to be eligible for president?
Yeah,
So let's say
I've
if
weighed
he
in on this
wasn't,
a little bit before. I mean, listen, um, I I am more in the direction of naturalized citizens should be eligible, primarily for the reason that without that, you really are creating sort of two tiers of citizens. You've got everybody's a citizen on paper, but some are kind of like more citizens than others, if that makes sense.
Mhm.
Now, I do think that it would be reasonable to say naturalized citizens can be president, but you have to have some additional, you've lived in the US for X amount of years. I'm completely open to something like that. But I mean, listen, not that I have any interest in running for president. I was 5 when I moved to the United States. I've been here more than 30 years. Does it really make sense for me not to be allowed to be president on that basis? I mean, I grew up here. I've only voted here. I've only worked here. I don't know. It doesn't really seem like that's problematic. But I am fine with there being some requirement where you if you've only been here, if you've only been a citizen for a year, maybe you can't be president. But I'll have to tell you, I also understand the argument of just letting the people decide. If the voters say, hey, you know what? Even though this person's a citizen, they've only been a citizen a year. I don't think that that's who we need as president. You could also make the case that you don't even really need a rule. It should just be up to the voters to decide. So, yeah, for me, I am significantly in the direction of allowing naturalized citizens to run for president.
Right, that makes sense to me too, because I can completely understand. I think the current requirement is you have to live in the U.S. for 14 years, or be a citizen for 14 years, and you have to be 35, and like that makes sense to me. The 35 years old is a bit of an arbitrary number, but
Yeah.
I guess it's understandable. You want people to have life experience. That makes sense
Yep.
to me. But yeah, the idea that you have to be a natural-born citizen is some people you literally can't. It's not an option for people to have like for yourself. And I know you say you're not planning to run, but like everyone has the at least possibility of living in the U.S. for
Right.
14 years if you have the funds to make it here and make the move.
Yep. But you
And
can't go
everyone
back in
can
history
theoretically
and be
live
born
35
somewhere
years.
else. That's for sure.
Right, exactly.
Yeah.
So,
All right, Grant. Well, thank you. I appreciate the question.
could I ask one extra little thing here?
Oh,
for you?
sure.
Sure. Do you see there being a possibility of that requirement being changed in the future? Is that something that could be switched, or is it too
Sure. Yeah. I mean,
set in
I
stone?
see a possibility of it, although it doesn't seem like there's really any big movement that's getting attention pushing for it right now. So I wouldn't expect it to
Sure.
happen anytime soon.
Okay. Very good. All right. Well, thanks for taking my call.
All right. Thanks, Grant. There's Grant from Iowa City with a very important question, which everyone will say, my opinion doesn't matter because I'm biased or something like that. Well, then listen to someone else's opinion. Let's go to Smitty from Los Angeles. Smitty, what's going on?
Good morning, David. How are you?
I'm doing
Oh,
well. Thank
sorry.
you.
Sorry. Don't cut me off. um, sorry, I mean it's habit. Well, I just want to say, as I've continued to listen to you, I have discovered that pretty much my politics are exactly where yours is at.
Wow.
I mean, I definitely feel like there's just certain things that that we need to take a hold of from a public perspective with education, with environment, with just certain industries that we should really have more control over from the government perspective with a lot of accountability. I think one of the issues is also accountability. And this is my question. Do you think it really is so much about left and right, or do you think it really is more about accountability? And do you think that it really is a matter of how you structure your society, but really having that accountability behind it? So could you be a capitalist society as long as there's like a lot of accountability? Or could you have a more socialist society with a lot of accountability? I feel like we do ourselves an injustice playing this left right game. I think it's more about that than it is about, the other stuff that is a
I don't know that I would say it's really about accountability. I mean, on many issues, it is about where you are on the political spectrum. A woman's right to choose. I don't think it's about accountability. Now, what I will say is, like, for example, for many right wingers who oppose abortion being legal, they like to take this approach of, well, it's about accountability in that if you engage in the type of sexual activity that leads to a pregnancy, you have to be accountable by then carrying the pregnancy to term. But I don't think that's the type of accountability you're talking about.
So it's more on, I'm sorry, it's more on the, the economical side. I'm definitely like far left on people should be allowed to do what they do. And,
yeah, no, I wasn't suggesting
they
you were taking
should
any
be free
particular
to do
position on
more.
abortion. No, I don't think I'm there. I don't think I'm there on accountability. A lot of times there's this instinct sometimes, and I say this not to criticize you, but because a lot of people do this. There's this instinct to find sort of like the grand thing that explains everything so often in society, where people will come and they'll say, fundamentally, all politics is about campaign finance. And it's like, well, a lot of it is, but there's also a lot of other stuff that's not about that. And sometimes people will call in and they'll say something like what you're saying. Fundamentally, it's not really about left, right. It's about accountability. I think the world is so complicated that I wouldn't even waste time looking for the one thing that it's really about. Everything is about a lot of different things. And I think that's the approach we should have.
Okay, well, that's good to know. I do think accountability is definitely a big part of it, but
All right.
But yes, I take all your tweets. So thank you for your feedback. I appreciate
All right.
it.
Smitty from LA, great to hear from you. Always appreciate it. Let's go to, I hope I pronounced this correctly. Is it Phineas or Phineas from Kansas? How do you pronounce that?
Hi, David. It's Phineas.
Phineas,
It's
geez.
actually based on Phineas Gage.
Well,
I
welcome
actually
to the
had a question
program,
for
sir.
you today, sir. I wanted to say, first and foremost, love the program, huge
Thank you.
fan. I wanted to ask why certain Democratic entities would spend money, specifically I'm in Kansas, why they would spend money to get people to turn out for an abortion vote, but then turn around and not invest any money in like a governor race or a Senate race.
Oh, well, because they see. So you're saying, why would they spend money advertising that there is like a ballot initiative on abortion or a referendum, and then
Right.
the
And
very
then
same people
tout
don't
the-
invest in like saying go vote for this gubernatorial candidate who might have a similar view on abortion, for example?
Exactly. But tout the results of the recent Kansas election and say, hey, we got favorable results, and then turn around and abandon us come midterms.
I have no
in terms
idea.
of
You'd have to ask.
gubernatorial.
You'd have to ask them. I think. I'm not really sure why. Why other people would or would not spend money in a certain way. I'm not really sure. I mean, there are some groups that only work on ballot initiatives and referenda, and then don't work on candidate races. But I don't. I think I just don't have all the information to be able to give you an explanation.
Well, I do appreciate your time on the ballot initiative. I wasn't aware. Thank you very much, Dave.
All right, Phineas. Sounds like you've got a lot going on there in Kansas, so I will let you go.